Well, good morning. The air is so full of promise this morning, promise of spring and promise of all, and not only just a promise, all the wonderful things that are happening in Sullivan County today. I'd like to welcome you to the Sullivan Renaissance 15th Annual Conference at Bethel Woods. And I can hardly believe that we're in our 15th year of volunteer efforts to beautify Sullivan County, building community pride. So much has happened and evolved in our Renaissance program over the years. One exciting aspect this year is the addition of our Spanish-speaking liaison, Ari Mir-Pontier, who is reaching out to the bilingual individuals and the Spanish-speaking community and inviting them to join the efforts of beautification. I'd like to welcome them now. Bienvenidos a nuestros amigos latinos. Estamos agradecidos en verlos aquí hoy. So welcome to our Latino friends. I'm delighted to begin our program by introducing the Bethlehem Temple Church Choir from Monticello, which has done several Sullivan Renaissance projects to beautify their buildings and grounds. The church is a member of the Monticello Interfaith Council, which runs programs for young people, supports the local food pantry, and last year ran an amazingly successful Thanksgiving Day dinner for over 1,000 people at the Monticello High School. They so generously volunteered to perform for you This Little Light of Mine. It seems to signify to me that each of you in your own way is that special little light shining in Sullivan County. So please, let's welcome the Bethlehem Temple Choir.
Good morning. All right, y'all ready? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Light, this little light of mine, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, everywhere I go, oh, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, in my home, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, in my home, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, all in my home, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. If you got a light, clap your hands. Clap your hands. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. shine.
Are we awake now? Oh, thank you so much. That was really marvelous, really marvelous. We are very pleased to have with us today Senator John Bonasek, a friend and long-term supporter of Sullivan Renaissance. He is someone who truly understands the role of community beautification, plays in economic development and the revitalization of Sullivan County. Please welcome Senator Bonasek.
Thank you, honey.
Thank you.
First of all, good morning. Sandra, you don't think I noticed, but your Spanish was very good when you were speaking. Alan, good morning, and morning to all. I'm still awed when I come up here by this facility and these grounds. The creativity and the vision of Alan and Sandra and what they've done here as an entertainment venue and giving back to the people is very much appreciated every day, and I just wanted to mention that. I usually come here every year, and I talk of hope and promise and stay strong, that a better day is coming for Sullivan County. Well, I'm going to talk a little differently today. The theme is different. The reality is here, and we have to plan and prepare, and we should be acting soon, and let me tell you what I'm talking about. When I looked at Montrain's projections of money for Sullivan County, in the first year, and they're in operation after the completion, they're forecasting $2.75 million to the county of Sullivan, and a like amount to the town of Thompson. That's a $5.5 million infusion of wealth into Sullivan County. That's the first year, and it goes up progressively. At the end of the fifth year, I think you're close to $6.5 million. That's just revenues from gaming and the resort. That's not talking about new wealth that would come in from other businesses, that would come in for people moving up, state income tax, property tax, tourism. So the message is there's wealth coming to Sullivan County. And with wealth comes a responsibility to be wise on how you invest wealth. And I'm suggesting, and I never micromanage county business because we're up to you-know-what in Albany with our own business. But I was thinking that maybe the powers to be, and I noticed that in this conference today, we have the best, the brightest, the most talented people in Sullivan County. And I'm thinking that Sullivan should create a reinvestment act and to create a revenue stream of this anticipated revenue and invest in your infrastructure, because I know times have been rough and revenues have not been as good as can be expected. And I've talked to Scott, and I think we're on the same page. And have an advisory board of the best and brightest minds in this county to be working with government to make sure the focus, the discipline, and the vision is there. In addition, I think you should be tightening up your zoning. I think you should be looking to get rid of more eyesores. Now, Sullivan Renaissance has been way out in front for 15 years doing this. But now real money can come in to put this more on fast forward, to make this pretty as we get more and more tourists that come up here from all over the world, and they will come. And we will continue to help wherever we can if we get discretionary capital. So these are real exciting times, and I'm glad to be a part of it, and I thank you all for your contribution. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, John. And we also have one of the bigger supporters for Sullivan Renaissance for many, many years is Aileen Gunther. She is also here today, so thank you, Aileen. Thank you. And if we could welcome to the podium the chairman of the Sullivan County Legislature, Scott Samuelson, who's working diligently to make Sullivan County the best it can be.
Thank you, Sandra. Good morning, everybody. Sandra is right. Everything is looking extraordinarily beautiful. The sun is shining today, which is a gift. It's still a little cold, but it is giving us a little bit of a view into the very near future, we hope. I am always so excited and pleased to be here. Sullivan Renaissance over the past 15 years has taken on a job that 15 years ago probably people would have said was an impossible task. They have done amazing things, and it is really the work of all of you, the volunteers, that year after year you come back with new ideas and new ways to make our community a more beautiful place to live, to build pride. And it was, it's hard to believe that 15 years ago, it would be hard to believe that we would be talking about what we're going to be talking about in the next 2 years. The fact that we have this incredible promise, what's coming forward to us, the idea that we have laid some groundwork so that we can welcome more and more people into Sullivan County, that we can show them who we are and the beauty of this incredible county. The senator is right. We've been thinking about that. We've been talking about putting people together, the right people together. It's going to be an extraordinary time, and we want to do it right. These opportunities don't come along every day, as we all well know. So we want to do it right, and we will. So I thank you all for the work that you do all over the years. I thank Sandra and Alan for the extraordinary gifts they give to this county, including this extraordinary facility. I get so many opportunities to participate here, and it is always such an incredible joy. Before I leave, I would like to acknowledge that I have one of my colleagues here, Cora Edwards, is here. And she and I on the legislature are looking to the future, and we're going to try to do all the best things that we can do for all of you, and thank you so much. Thank you.
Congressman Gibson was not able to join us today, and he's asked me to read this letter. Dear friends, thank you for inviting me to this excellent event, which I cherish and had been looking forward to joining you this morning. Unfortunately, I am in Kinderhook today for the memorial service for my wife, Mary Jo's mom, Kathy, a wonderful woman who passed away earlier this week. I do want to wish the Sullivan Renaissance team and its supporters all the best for a successful event today and for the huge positive impact they make throughout Sullivan County. Best regards, Chris Gibson, Member of Congress. And we wish to send our condolences to Congressman Gibson and his family. And Dally? Yes. Now we come on to the really good part here.
Thank you for saying that. Good morning, everybody. My name is Dally Levy. I am a proud member of the Sullivan Renaissance Steering Committee. The Sullivan First Achievement Awards were a tradition which began in 1998 by the grassroots beautification group Sullivan First. I was also a member of Sullivan First, so this is a really great honor. They were presented each year in recognition of the efforts of individuals, businesses, youth, and community organizations that enhanced Sullivan County. Over the years, the awards were continued by Sullivan Renaissance. In recognition of the remarkable contributions of volunteers throughout Sullivan County and in celebration of Sullivan Renaissance 15th year, with a renewed sense of pride and spirit, we present the next generation called the Renaissance Awards. Renaissance is defined as the activity, spirit, or time of great revival. Each of these awards represent transition, vigor, rebirth, and recognizes a sense of pride and community. In the spirit of Sullivan Renaissance, we say, have you Renaissance today? For our award recipients being honored here, the answer is an absolute yes. This morning, I am pleased to present the Renaissance Awards to individuals, organizations, and businesses that have contributed to beautification and community development within Sullivan County. Today's recipients will receive a framed photo, a statement of their recognition, as well as citations from the Sullivan County Legislature, New York State Assemblywoman Aileen Gunther, New York State Senator John Bonasek, and United States Congressman Chris Gibson. As the recipients are called, we ask you to please send a representative or two to the stage to receive your plaque and pose for a photo. I would like to invite Gay Donofrio to the stage. She is also with the Sullivan Renaissance Steering Committee, and she will help to present the awards. Thank you, Gay. Our Spirit Award is given for outstanding efforts in community service, a special attitude and spirit that helps shape our community. We have 3 Spirit Awards today. Lots of spirit in Sullivan County. Our first Spirit Award recipient is retired Lieutenant Luis Alvarez, who is being recognized Luis is being recognized for his career as a deputy sheriff, the DARE program, his public service, and his volunteerism as board member of Sullivan ARC. Luis Alvarez served the citizens of Sullivan County for over 28 years. He is as deputy corporal, sergeant, and lieutenant in the Sheriff's Patrol Division. He coordinated the Sheriff's crime prevention and youth programs. He oversaw community initiatives such as DARE, Neighborhood Watch, Child ID, and very close to his heart, the Sheriff's Summer Camp program. One time, a child chosen to attend the camp appeared with torn and tattered sneakers after his family lost everything in a flood. Luis was able to get a new pair of sneakers donated by a local business. On the day to depart for camp, however, the boy showed up with the original tattered sneakers. He said he had to give them to his brother. After investigating, Lieutenant Alvarez sadly found out that a family member had sold the sneakers for drugs. Stunned, Luis personally bought the boy another pair of sneakers and sent them along to camp. Sheriff Schiff describes Luis best. He is an integral part of the fabric of our community and is arguably the most recognized law enforcement officer among Sullivan County's youth. We thank you, Lieutenant Alvarez. Our second Spirit Award goes to the Rock Hill Fire Department for its outstanding emergency service and volunteerism in 2014 Sullivan Renaissance Project and a new public playground and ball field, and for hosting community-wide events. Formed in 1956, the Rock Hill Fire Department now has over 60 members. In 2014, they responded to almost 200 calls. In addition to fighting fires and responding to motor vehicle accidents, members are active in their community organizing fundraisers, events such as the Empire State Performance Rally, antique car shows, golf tournaments, and several county firemen's parades. Volunteers have also been part of the St. Patrick's Day Parade, the building of the Rock Hill Farmers Market, hanging community banners, and helping to maintain community gardens. In 2014, the Rock Hill Fire Department had a large-scale Sullivan Renaissance project that brought a ball field, soccer field, and playground to the community of Rock Hill. The judges commented, "The scope of this project and the fundraising efforts are extraordinary. The youth participation is exceptional, and the children's murals and rocks are beautiful and lend a community spirit air to the project. The members of the Rock Hill Fire Department show true community spirit, and we thank you." Our third Spirit Award goes to Lou Monteleone for his outstanding efforts and spirit providing joy for families during the holidays, as well as raising community awareness and money for many charitable causes. For the past 8 years, Lou has helped raise over $100,000 for the St. Baldrick's Foundation's fight against pediatric cancer. He created the Line of Hope across America, where participants spell out names of loved ones lost to cancer in a long, hand-holding line. This idea has grown from 6 states in 2009 to all 50 states last year joined. Lou created the Santa Express, which drives a huge sled to spread Christmas joy to children and families all across Sullivan County. The giant sleigh is covered with lights, music blares, dancing characters, and toys and special effects go to towns in Sullivan County such as Bethel, Liberty, Monticello, and South Fallsburg. The Santa Express is free for thousands who show up and experience it. When you see Lou, you never know which cause he'll be raising money for. The Muscular Dystrophy Association, Roscoe Flood Victims, the RISE Foundation, or the American Red Cross. The Bear My Heart Company designed a teddy bear named after Lou, called the Lou Bear. Over 200 Lou Bears were sold to people across the country for sick children in hospitals, with a portion of every sale going to charity. Lou says that bear has given a lot of families comfort when they needed it the most. Lou, you definitely have community spirit. Thank you. Our next category is the Transformation Award, which is given to recognize a substantial renovation or overhaul, a complete change in appearance. Today, we have 2 Transformation Awards. Our first Transformation Award goes to Tilly's Diner for best practices in beautification in the business and choosing colors and materials that complement the area. Casimiro Rodriguez, known to most as Chico, came to America with not much more than a dream to his name. After his first day as a dishwasher at Tilly's, Chico dreamt of having his own diner. That dream came true. In keeping with his fashion and hard work and effort, he owns that same diner where he started as a dishwasher. Today, Tilly's Diner is an example of how hard work, beautification efforts, and community involvement can transform. Recent renovations include a new facade, painting, and stonework. Even before these improvements started, though, the first thing to appear were beautiful, bright flowers. We thank Tilly's Diner for doing their part and being an example of how small business can have a great impact on the community, and also for their pancakes. Here to accept the award on behalf of Chico is Sheila Boyle. Thank you. Thank you, Sheila. Our second Transformation Award goes to the Bashakill Vineyards. They're being recognized for a complete renovation and addition of a business that entertains and attracts visitors in a beautiful environment. Set in a picturesque region of the Catskill Mountains, Bashakill Vineyards got its start in 2007 with the first farm winery license in Sullivan County. Paul Danino transformed a family farmhouse by adding a tasting room with a hand-built wooden bar, a stone patio, and multiple seating areas that blend right into the landscape. The organic vineyard sits on a slight slope which flows to the Bashakill wetlands. In 2011, Paul built a 40-foot cave which is used to age the handcrafted red wines. Materials from throughout the property have been incorporated into the design, including white pine benches, field stone on the back patio, and clay for its mortar. The cave, artisan concrete work, and woodwork were all done using local contractors. In 2014, Bashakill Vineyards received a farm brewery license and will start to produce small batches of craft beer this upcoming season. During the summer, the vineyard is open to the public on Saturdays and Sundays. Customers are invited to pack a lunch, stroll around the vineyard, and enjoy live music. It is a pleasure to go there and see locals and tourists enjoying the wines and scenery here in Sullivan County. Paul, we toast you. Thank you. Our next category is the Collaboration Award, which is given for outstanding commitment to volunteerism with multiple groups to achieve a positive impact working together. This award goes to Laura Quigley for her outstanding efforts working with several organizations to inspire, engage, teach, and employ young adults in our community. Laura Quigley is the director of the Center for Workforce Development with over 23 years' experience in matching people with jobs and careers. As director, she has been responsible for bringing people and organizations together to create employment solutions for youth, recipients of public assistance, adults, displaced workers, and business customers. She strongly believes in partnering wherever possible to maximize the positive impact on the community. Laura has been involved in regional and statewide efforts to build partnerships that meet the changing needs of businesses and workers. She directs the Summer Youth Program, which helps place young people in jobs that give them meaningful experience, and hire interns as county employees for the Sullivan Renaissance Internship Program. She is a member of the Sullivan County Child Care Council Board, Rural Health Network, and vice chair of the Monticello High School Academy of Finance Advisory Board. Laura never says no to an invitation that will engage youth. Laura, thank you for working with so many of us to help shape the next workforce generation and leaders. Our Spark Award is given to a youth who is making a difference. He wants someone who is making a difference in the community and helping to germinate volunteerism in youth. This award goes to Joel Aguilar for his active participation as a founding member of the Youth Economic Group, YEG, part of Rural and Migrant Ministry. Over the years, Joel has traveled the country spreading a message and fighting for social justice. In Sullivan County, he helped create a youth-run cooperative business from the ground up, designing and manufacturing basement bags and other products that include social and inspirational messages. He says, not only have we kept our wits as young adults to be part of something educational and revolutionary, but we have been able to create a family. Joel says he will always be thankful to YEG, its present and past members, coordinators, and supporters for mentoring him. Joel attends college at Sophie Davis School of Biomedical Education at CCNY to study medicine. Although he says, I know for sure it won't be a final goodbye. We thank you for being an example to spark other youth with a passion or dream. Thank you. Our Revival Award is given for outstanding efforts by an entire community with renewed attention to appearance, tourism, and change on a large scale. We present 2 Revival Awards today. The first award goes to the Roscoe-Rockland Chamber of Commerce for the partnerships and attractions they have created that have contributed to a surge in business promotion and tourism. Receiving recognition as the ultimate fishing town USA from the World Fishing Network gave Roscoe nationwide exposure and built incredible county and community spirit. Recently named as the best diner in New York State, the world-famous Roscoe Diner added a new ice cream parlor on the premises and serves local maple syrup as part of a commitment to local products. That's easy to do since Roscoe produces so many gourmet items such as pasta from Northern Farmhouse Pasta, spirits from Prohibition Distillery, and craft beer from the Roscoe Beer Company. These products continue to put Roscoe foodstuffs in the bellies and on the map. Riverside Park was built utilizing funding from a New York Main Street grant and Sullivan Renaissance. The hamlet has replaced sidewalks and lampposts, added new planters, information booths, murals, and several other beautification efforts. Roscoe-Rockland Chamber participates in trade shows and events and has hired a marketing firm to promote Roscoe and the Sullivan County as a destination. The Roscoe-Rockland Chamber states, "It all starts and ends with committed individuals, energy, and a vision of what can be." We thank you, Roscoe. The second Revival Award goes to the Rock Hill Business and Community Association, which acts as the local chamber of commerce for the hamlet of Rock Hill. Numbering over 120 members, the association works to maintain the quality of businesses in the area, encourages new businesses to locate to Rock Hill, hosts community events, and helps enhance the overall appearance of Rock Hill. Membership includes community individuals, insurance companies, real estate brokers, local elected officials, grocery, hardware stores, restaurants, landscapers, law firms, builders, and more. To further the spirit of community, the association sponsors a farmers market, St. Patrick's Day parade, a holiday event, a Halloween trunk and treat, and a summer concert series, while working year-round in beautification and aesthetic improvement projects. Rock Hill Business and Community Association is currently working on a public art project and a business beautification program, has created and maintained 7 public gardens throughout Rock Hill. We thank you for making big changes to your community. And we now have an Earth Award, which is given for taking extra strides to incorporate sustainable standards with consideration for protecting the environment and preserving natural resources. The Earth Award goes to the Catskill Brewery for its LEED certified building, using recycled materials in the parking lot, and extra efforts to maintain green standards. The Catskill Brewery is a state-of-the-art, sustainable craft brewery at the gateway to the Catskill Park, right off 17 in Livingston Manor. The brewery is a new venture between an organic fruit nectar importer and the founder of Catskill Mountain Keeper. The brewery's environmental advocacy is demonstrated by the low-impact systems selected: thermal bridge-free envelope design, natural daylighting, stack effect ventilation, permeable paving, green roofs, solar panels, and solar hot water systems, ground source heat pumps for heating, cooling, and refrigeration, along with native plantings. We thank you for keeping it green. And in my closing tradition, I would just like to remind you of my favorite quote by Benjamin Franklin: "Better done, well done is better than well said." And we thank you for doing. To all our award recipients, we thank you for all you have done to transform Sullivan County, one person, one place, and one community at a time.
Just a second. Well, congratulations to all the Sullivan Renaissance Award recipients. This is just but a sampling of the many good things happening in Sullivan County on a daily basis, and we thank you all for all your efforts and hard work and innovation, and we're most pleased. So thank you so much. It was several years ago that we were privileged to have Dr. Peter Tarlow give the keynote address at our annual conference. Among his many messages, Dr. Tarlow suggested that it was time for Sullivan County to get over the loss of the old hotels. The industry was dead. It was time to stop sitting Shiva, to stop mourning the loss, and to get on with creating the future, to define our strengths and market them, and we took his message to heart. Last year, Ithaca Mayor Savante Myrick addressed our annual conference and spoke about what his city was doing to recreate itself, about the projects he was initiating, and the way volunteers and businesses were enlisted to rejuvenate the city of Ithaca. We were inspired, and we took his words to heart. And here we are today, and there are so many beyond the possibilities, there are so much happening. So through much work on many different levels, by many different people and groups, there are a series of projects now happening in Sullivan County that will move us forward economically, culturally, and environmentally. Our keynote panel is comprised of the leaders of 6 key organizations who will share with us today their current and future plans and give us an opportunity to hear and ask any questions that we may have about the initiatives that are continuing to transform Sullivan County. At this point, I would like to introduce to you our panelists, and if they would mind coming up, and I'll introduce you, and then as I introduce you, just sit in there. Okay, we'll start with Alan Gary, founder and chairman of the Board of Trustees of Bethel Woods. Yeah. He's our rock star here. Oh, yeah, right here, Al. Yeah, right there. Sullivan Renaissance was originally established to clean up and beautify our county to welcome the throngs of concert goers to our area. Sullivan Renaissance has also had the opportunity to hold several of its award ceremonies here at Bethel Woods. I'd like to introduce Charles Delegiomini. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Forgive me. He's, our other rock star, Executive Vice President of Government Affairs and Corporate Communications for NASDAQ-traded Empire Resorts. We are so excited and looking forward to welcoming Montreal Resort Casino to Sullivan County, as we have been preparing for their arrival these past 15 years. And Dr. Karen Hilgerson, President of SUNY Sullivan. Dr. Hilgerson and her staff, in partnership with Sullivan Renaissance, have been working on improving the appearance of the SUNY Sullivan campus. They have also planted and maintained for several years an edible garden on their campus with grants from Sullivan Renaissance. So thank you for being here, Karen. Patrick Dollard, President and Chief... President and Chief Executive Officer, the Center for Discovery. In past years, we have partnered with the Center for Discovery to discuss the importance of green initiatives that would have a positive impact on our county. Currently, the center is working closely with the Renaissance volunteers on the revitalization of Main Street in Hurleyville. Dr. Gerard Galarno, Chief Executive Officer. Of Catskill Regional Medical Center. The hospital has worked with Sullivan Renaissance landscaping the entry to the John Bonasek Emergency Room, which it continues to maintain with plans to expand the hospital gardens. And Ramsey Adams, Executive Director of the Catskill Mountain People. Sullivan Renaissance is partnering with Catskill Mountain Keeper on the Catskill Edible Garden Project, which creates vegetable gardens as a forum to teach children about nutrition and healthy food preparation in schools throughout Sullivan County. And of course, Dr. Tarlow, our moderator. Please welcome Dr. Tarlow to the...
Good morning.
I was thinking this morning about the fact that everyone asked me if I was cold coming from Texas, but I will tell you that the warmth in this room and the caring that you all show can melt any snow. And so,
Then the audience benevolent.
Sandra was right. A few years ago, I challenged you to get over sitting Shiva, move on, and create a new world. And today, I think we're going from Shiva, for those of you who understand it, to the concept of the unveiling. In other words, the past is now behind us, the morning is over, and now a new dawn, a new light is showing. And that's happening because not only of the 6 men and women who are here today, who are going to speak with you, but really because what everyone in this room has done. This is really, they are symbols of what you all are accomplishing. And your goodness, your caring, your inspiration, your appreciation inspires each one of these people and inspires all of us. So before I turn it over to them, and it's not easy for a rabbi to keep his mouth shut, I'd like you all to give yourselves a hand of applause because you deserve it. Now, before we begin, one little piece of housekeeping, because if not, Denise will have my head, and that is that in your bags, you should find an index card that looks like this. And in the last half hour, it will be your opportunity to ask questions. So if you have questions, write them down, give them to me, and I will make sure that they are sorted and the questions are asked. And thinking about today, it occurred to me that there's certain key words that really express all of what you do in Sullivan County. Those are one, that each one of these individuals here is a symbol of inspiration. Secondly, by what they do, they've shown dedication. Thirdly, they've done more than talk. They've actually made it happen, concretization. And finally, all of us need to show to them, and they, I believe, will show to each one of us, appreciation. So the rules are going to be that I'm hoping this will be a general conversation. I'll try to warm it up a little bit as things go along the way. I will try to keep us all on topic, and that will be, how do we inspire each other? How do we dedicate to the renewal of this county? How do we make things happen? And how, most importantly, do we teach each of us how to appreciate one to the other? And I'm going to start by asking Alan Gary, who's one of the earliest visionaries in this county, if he would start sharing some of his thoughts with us. And everyone else, please jump in as the conversation is needed. So Alan?
Are we on a microphone here?
You're supposed to be, so I hope so.
Okay. Well, Dr. Tarlow, thanks for inviting me to say a few words here. I'm sure that my fellow panelists and Dr. Karen have more interesting things to say. Very, very briefly, interestingly enough, how many, out there in the audience, are there any first-timers out here that haven't been here before? See that?
Plenty.
See that, gals? That's our potential. I wanted to say that, during the last, I would say, since the late 70s, the early 80s, the economic impact that we've gone through with having our main industry disappear before us. The hotels left, and nothing really took its place. The new folks that came into the community, a lot of them started small organic farms. Some small businesses were tried. They opened, they shuttered their doors a few years later in almost all of our communities, which resulted in a pretty sad situation on our main streets around the county. I'm going to stand up here a second. So here we find ourselves. We talked about the gaming opportunities. We talked about the new airport back in the, I think it was the 50s or 60s when it opened up. But after all of the opportunities that people planned on, the things that some of the outsiders came in and tried to actually start here, I think that we find ourselves at this particular point probably at the most opportune time in my lifetime. I came up here, my folks brought us up here in 1931, my two brothers and myself. There's a polio scare in New York City, so they came up here for a few months because of there weren't any vaccines at that particular point. So I've grown up here. I've gone off, I was in the service, I came back to Liberty, went to school, came back to Liberty, started our cable business, and fortunately was able to get an anchor on that, anchored it in Liberty, had it grown to the 7th largest cable operator in the nation, out of Liberty, Liberty people, Liberty folks, and merged with Time Warner in 1996, and since then started to think about what could we do, what is the next step. I like this to describe to the folks that work with us, and we've got most of the people that are with our company are local folks, local people that I've grown up with, people that my kids have grown up with. But I like to think that the Gary Group, Bethel Woods, we've kept the lights on over the last few years. From the time, thank you. Thank you. But to see how we've survived here, we're a tough bunch up here. Worked very, very hard, lost a lot of the opportunities for our children, and as a result, they've moved off into other areas and other professions all over the world. But they're Sullivan County people, they're smart people, and we are survivors up here. So we waited and we worked hard, and I guess the stars were in the right place, and we were awarded the gaming license here 2 years ago. The governor was right up here when he announced it, and we're very, very pleased that he came here to where the lights were on to make the announcement that we're going to have gaming. We find ourselves at this point with really at the cusp of great opportunity. And one of the things that we have here that a lot of other people don't have, we have a beautiful, beautiful county, but most of all, it's our spirit. And one of the things I've learned in the few years that we've, this is our 10th, going into our 10th year at Bethel Woods. Can you imagine? 10 years. Thank you. And one of the things that I'm so proud of is the reputation that we've had up here and the good feelings we've generated with our guests that come in from all over the United States and in many instances all over the world. We've met people from Japan, from Europe, from London, from South Africa. They feel the vibes, they feel the spirit. Our people, the folks that work here, and I can't say enough for our hundreds of volunteers. We've got wonderful, wonderful people that work with us, and they're natives. They're Sullivan County people. And this is their home for the summer. This is where they come to work together. They have their own organization. I've heard from many of them how much they feel their life has improved by being able to work with other retired people from the county and serve the public and say, how are you? Are you having a good time? May we help you? People lose their cars. They lose their purses. They lose their kids. We're here. We find them all. And what we get, the letters that we have gotten in our organization, letters of appreciation. Where do you find these people? Where do you get these people? It's part of our culture, and it's really part of the Sullivan County culture that we've always been hosts. We've had the hotels for many, many years. Let's get into the current, the message I'm trying to leave you with here is that we have an opportunity now. We're going to have our good friends who have gotten the, where's Charlie? Oh, who have been awarded the license to build the new casinos, the new community out there in the town of Thompson. And a lot of the things that they've said, and they've been up here, when they started scouting the county out, they see a quality of people. They see a quality of people wanting to serve. They see a quality of people that have a background here of, all my life, we've made our livelihood on the tourism business, and we've been the hosts up here. So now we have with the Grossingers and the Concord and all the other hotels, but now we have an opportunity to do it again. And we can't screw this thing up, ladies and gentlemen, really. You have to take the opportunity, you have to smile, you have to say thank you, you just have to say come back again, you have to say good morning, you have to, it's the way you answer in your business. I'm just talking about what worked for us. Worked for us for 40 years in the cable business. You answer the phone, you say good morning, you say thank you for calling, say how can I help you? You call back, is your problem solved? Have your needs been met? So we know all about hospitality up here because of our years in the hotel business. But the important thing, I want to try to bring this thing together here and just for a moment over here. This is a great opportunity. Whatever we've done in the past, the right things with the wrong things, we've learned an awful lot. But the thing that really counts is taking care of the public, serving the needs of the people. Be happy the people are here. And it doesn't happen from the bottom up. It happens from the top down. If you run a business, if you've got employees, if it's a one-man operation or working in a store with 5 or 6 people, you have to make sure that the people that meet the public understand what we're all about. And we're all about hospitality. We're all about making you feel welcome. Because this is a game changer. What's happened over here with the new casino, this is a real game changer. People said, oh, when the airport comes in, it's going to change things. It helped, but it didn't change things. When the hospital came in, the hospital has struggled over the years, and thank goodness, I mean, we've got one of the world-class hospitals out here. in the county. And we've affiliated with the people in Orange County, the thing that Ramsey is doing. So there's a whole lot of new things, and I can't forget the Center for Discovery, what you guys are doing out there. It's amazing. But there again, you're serving the public. You're serving the public. You're providing a need. They come here to you from all over the world because you do something special. You do something different. You do it right. So this is our opportunity to do something special, to do it right. So I thank you all for coming. My message is a message of hope. And we're beyond it. This has been handed to us. This has been handed to us. We've got a great license with great people. And Charlie's got some great bosses. We met these folks with generations of hospitality. They own gaming operations and hospitality organizations all over the world. But they chose Sullivan County because we've got something to offer. So that we've got to make this thing work. So my message to you is thank you for coming this morning. And this is a time of great hope. This is a game changer, and things are going to get a lot better. And you've got my commitment for the Gary family. We're going to keep the lights on. Okay? Thanks. I just want to say one thing, and I left it out. Of all the people that need to be recognized here, I could go on for hours and talk lots of good things about everyone sitting down here. We have a young lady up here that has done miracles and we're going to have more miracles, and that's with Dr. Hillstrom here. Karen.
Thank you. I thought he was going to say Sandra.
Has done a wonderful job out there at the Sullivan County Community College, and she just got started. But really, you can look for really great things coming out of there now and in the future. Mm-hmm. And just one other thing about Jerry, Dr. Jerry at the hospital. I mentioned the hospital, but this is a very, very unusual man. In the morning, he provides surgery. He goes home and he has lunch, and then he comes back, he puts his business suit out, and then he goes into the administrative office, and he actually does a lot of it, the running and the fundraising and the administration of the hospital. We've never had anyone of his caliber out there leading the parade, and I tell you, we're lucky again. And this is a wonderful guy, and Jerry, you've done a great job out there.
Hey, Gary.
And Ramsey will talk about his wonderful, wonderful new business that they've started up there in Roscoe, and the wonderful things that the Mountain Keeper, River Keeper, and all those folks have been doing up there. And it's made a big difference in keeping our community, our county is beautiful, and the water and the air and everything else. This is a very special guy. Keep an eye on him. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
I think Alan gave us a really good beginning, and he mentioned 3 relatively new people to our county. And so I was hoping that maybe as the conversation progresses, that each one of those 3 of you who are relatively new to the county would talk a little bit, what inspired you to come here, and what are the great ideas that you have to make Sullivan County truly a place of tomorrow. So I'm going to pass to the 3 of you and ask you if you'd begin by saying, as new rays of hope and rays of sunshine, what's some of the warmth and beauty that you're bringing to this county and ideas you have? Charles, maybe you'd like to start.
Sure. I know we're not mourning the Catskills anymore, but since December 17th, I feel like the bar mitzvah boy. So
I'll be glad to help you.
Thank you. I'm going to need some remedial education, but I've actually been involved in our company going back almost. My son was in diapers. He's now 22 years old, so on and off again. our business has struggled, always pursuing a casino license, a casino dream. But on December 17th, the state of New York, after a very vigorous competition, out of 16 applicants, 3 were chosen and recommended for a casino gaming license. And we were fortunate enough to be one of them. And I get this question asked to me almost every day, Charlie, how do you think you won it? And I can tell you, we won because of the people who were sitting on this panel with me and the people who were sitting in the audience out there. First and foremost, Sullivan County provided the state of New York with such a dynamic and unparalleled sense of support. It was going to be very, very difficult, if not impossible, to say no to Sullivan County. Ramsey Adams, who I've known for 6 or 7 years, taught me and my company how to develop in an environmentally responsible. I never heard the word smart growth until I met Ramsey Adams, Mountain Keeper, and his colleagues at the NRDC. So while we didn't always agree at all times over the last 6 or 7 years that we knew each other, we developed a relationship, and with his input and support, he set a narrative that said, you know what, a casino license is a good thing for Sullivan County, but there shouldn't be 5 casinos, 4 casinos, 3 casinos. That's almost too much for one county such as this. And it would do a great disservice to the environment that we all have come to appreciate and enjoy. Jerry is a more recent friend of mine, but somebody who we've now embedded ourselves in Catskill Regional and Orange Regional Medical Centers. Obviously, healthcare for us, we're going to bring 2,400 new employees right here. And with that, we need the unparalleled healthcare support system that Jerry and his group provides. Patrick is my Jesuit mentor, also a more spiritual leader for me personally, someone who's starting to teach me about that a business isn't all about just making money. It's about helping, it's about solving problems, it's about looking at children and doing everything that we can as a business to support what he does, which I think, and I've just been absolutely blown away just by spending a little bit of time with Patrick, and we're going to be spending more time together to figure out how our business could advantage the Center for Discovery. SUNY Sullivan and Karin is my partner. We've been talking now and working closely. We almost talking on a weekly basis now about how our workforce needs to be developed. We need a trained workforce. We just can't throw open our doors and say, come and let's have 2,400 people come work for us. They have to be, trained correctly. They have to understand, we're in a very highly regulated business. You just can't walk in off the door and, there's screening, there's educational requirements and everything like that. And what better environment and what better resource can we have as a business than SUNY Sullivan and the hospitality programs, the IT programs, and all the other things that we're going to be working with together with SUNY Sullivan in order to advantage ourselves and to advantage the people who want to come to work for us. And certainly last and not least, but Alan and Sandra, we feel like we're standing on the shoulders of giants. Another tremendous reasons why that, once again, why to win it, we won it because we said to ourselves as a business that we were going to work with all the not-for-profit entertainment venues in this area. Because look, any business can come in and disrupt another business, and we absolutely were not going to do that. So from day one, we've been meeting with Alan and the entire team at Bethel to talk about how to best synergize our organization and their organization to make sure that our businesses grow together and don't compete. So that's the long form. I hope that was okay.
You were great. I think it's...
Good job. Good job.
I had the privilege of having dinner with these fine people a few days ago, And one of the things that really impressed me when I spoke with Charlie is he talked about the fact we're more than just a casino. We're going to be a resort. We're going to have a water park. We're going to have a hotel. We're going to have restaurants. We're going to be a place of reinvigoration. And as he was speaking, it occurred to me, and Alan mentioned the word hospitality. The word hospitality comes from the same Latin root as the word hospital. Both come from the sense of taking care. And if you think about it, what makes these 6 individuals so unique, what makes you so unique, is every one of us are people who take care of others. Be that from the mind, the heart, the spirit, the flower, the cleaning of the walk, or the painting of the wall. It's all about taking care. And each one of you is very special in doing that. So I don't want to just call on y'all, but maybe one of you would like to speak a little bit about how what you do helps to take care of this county and helps to invigorate and how you interact with the people of the county. So, floors,
I'm
sure.
assuming you're talking about the hospital.
Yes, yes. Hospital and hospitality are very much alike.
Let me talk a little bit about how I got to Sullivan County. I finished my residency at Beth Israel Medical Center in urology in 2000 and came and practiced urology in Middletown in Orange County. I became the chief of staff of Orange Regional Medical Center. I think it was the day I didn't show up, the day they voted. And became sort of a leader down there, and then went back and got my master's in medical management. Scott Batulis, the CEO of the Greater Hudson Valley Health System, my boss, who wasn't at the time, came up to me and said they're having problems at Catskill Regional Medical Center, and would I go up and look around and make a decision on whether or not it was an endeavor I wanted to take on. We talk about perception. So you pull up to an old hospital with big potholes in the parking lot and an old building. Some parts were new, the emergency room and our labor and delivery. And you would think that anybody who could turn the hospital around wouldn't want to. Then I met the people who work there. It is amazing the dedication and the skill level of many of the people at that hospital, where you would say to each one of them, you know, why did you stay? And they stayed because they love this place and they love the people here. They just wanted somebody to lead them in a direction that hospital needed to go. And the way I lead is this. When you look at the pyramid of hierarchy within the hospital, there's the CEO, and then the chief nursing officer, and then you have administrators, and then managers, and then the front level staff. And typically the decision gets made at the top with the person who probably has the least ability to make the decision on what actually needs to get done. So we flip that pyramid around, and it is front level staff that determine whether or not changes need to be made. They're the ones that are doing the work. If I don't show up to work tomorrow, besides the clinical part, my patients would be upset, but there probably wouldn't be any notice. But if somebody who cleans the room, or one of the nurses, or one of the food service workers doesn't show up, people would know. And they really have been my inspiration. They've really helped transform that hospital. And it truly is, to use the term, what we're going to see in the hospital over the next several years is really a renaissance. So I'm very happy. And they are really, really wonderful people, and as is everyone in this county. And you've just welcomed me with open arms, and I can't thank you enough.
We still have 3 people we haven't heard from, 2 of whom have been here for a while and are part of the Hills, and one's a new person. So let's ask the lady in the room who's really brought the wisdom of education. And education is derived from the same root as dedication. And I think if you get to know her, you'll find there are very few people who are not as dedicated to education as the president of the community college here. Karen, would you say a few words?
Sure, thank you. First of all, I want to say that I'm entering my 3rd year, so I think I'm almost to the point where I'm relatively not new.
You have to be 30 years not to be new.
30 years. And I also want to say, much like Jerry, I've been so welcomed here. It truly has been amazing, and it has helped my little light shine every day because of the welcoming people at the college and in the community. It's been really terrific. I describe myself as a community college zealot, a little bit crazy about public higher education for learners of all types. And that means that our students are so unbelievably diverse in every way. They're diverse academically, they're diverse socially, they're diverse in terms of their academic readiness, they're racially diverse, they're diverse in terms of their social skills even. It's a fascinating, fascinating line of work. And I've devoted my entire life to it. And one of the things that I think I felt very deeply about SUNY Sullivan when I first arrived was this sense of need. I really felt that they needed someone like me who's done nothing but community colleges since about the age of 22, so I'm literally on my 30th year, who could help identify and help frame a vision to move forward. So one of the first things that we've done is we have a completely new strategic plan, and it was rooted out of a process called appreciative inquiry, where we begin by appreciating one another, leveraging our strengths, looking at the common visions that we share, including excellence across the board in everything we do, excellence. And that's in the classroom, that's having excellent spaces, that's having an excellent cohesive theme for who we want to become. And who we want to become is grounded in sustainability. It's grounded in a healthy human being, a healthy environment, a healthy food shed, watershed, and that there's really no brain-body split, that it's really all one, that we need to be physically healthy so that we can be mentally healthy, right? That all of that goes together. So it's a very holistic approach. And I'm so pleased that after 2 years, I see great movement at SUNY Sullivan in this area. And I see little lights that were sort of dim upon my arrival starting to brighten, and those lights connect with other lights. They connect with one another. And I think it creates an energy that's been really marvelous, truly marvelous. So anyway.
It's interesting, the subtext of today, almost everyone has spoken about lights in one way or the other. And two people who have been truly lights to this county and to the people here, we have not heard from yet, Patrick and Ramsey. And I was hoping maybe they would give a few comments about what they begin to see to start the conversation as challenges for the next decade and where we really want to go in making those lights shine even brighter. So.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Sandra Gary for her work at Sullivan Renaissance, and really, she needs to be acknowledged by me because of how wonderful she has been to this community and to this county. And none of us would be here if it wasn't for her. And Alan, thank you for hosting us today.
Thank you.
One of the things, the key points that Alan made in the beginning was that, this is a new time for this county with the awarding of the casino license, with the revitalization of the hospital, with the revitalization of the college, with the fracking decision decided. We're no longer waiting for things to happen. There's no longer, here we are, we know what our future is, and we all are coming together in a very real way right now to make this. And I see a huge opportunity because I think that the Catskills is a special place, and Sullivan County is the gateway to the Catskills. And the Catskills as a brand is something that's remarkable. proximity to New York City makes us really the backyard and the open space for the greater metropolitan area. So the opportunity is really unique right now in this time. And one thing that is important is a lot of the bad things that happened in other parts of the state, out in suburban areas, the sprawl, the McDonald's on every exit, the Walmarts in every town, didn't happen here. So we're sort of lucky because we have, instead of tearing down everything or renovating everything, we've got the old, beautiful Catskills to work from. And another key element, I think, is the great institutions that we have. So we've got a great set of museums in this county. And, so the museum trails, the cultural institutions that we've already built that we now get to celebrate with the casino and with Bethel Woods and with all these other things. I mean, there's a real opportunity to celebrate the institutions that we've got. We've got now a wine and beer trail. We've got the Bashakill, the Roscoe Brewery, the Catskill Distillery, the Prohibition Distillery, and the brewery that I'm involved in Livingston Manor. That's incredible. That's a wonderful opportunity for us to celebrate, food and culture. And I will say, just recently, we started to see a shift in the statewide and even national media. There's a story about the Catskills in the Daily Beast. There's a story about it in the New York Times blog, all within the last week. There's a lot of, attention, and I think that, for all of us and our tourism bureaus and our elected officials, thank you, Scott, it's a real opportunity. So my message is really right on par with, I think, what Alan's message is that here we go, we can do this together, we've got a great opportunity, and it's sort of ours to lose, and we won't lose it, so.
Well, I think to start with, this collaboration is going to be very important, and I'm hoping to get to know Charlie and his people, since we're going to be going head-to-head with our 2,000 employees and his 2,400. You wonder where they're going to be, so I think that's one of the big challenges we're going to face. We don't lack intellectual property in Sullivan County. The Center for Discovery is an international place because I have the smartest staff on earth, and they all come from Sullivan, a couple from Orange, maybe a couple from Pennsylvania. But we need more of them, as we grow. The center has a bunch of things that we're trotting out, and hopefully it's going to change a care model or create new care models. But I do think it's recognizing that we have to support people locally. We have to, I think, there's an opportunity to urbanize some of our smaller villages so we could have walkable work opportunities where people live and can walk to work and not commuting. Hopefully Ramsey works his magic in these winters that seeming are getting worse and worse. We can calm those damn things down. I signed a check for $200,000 for salt last week, and I go, holy hell. But I think the center, we're a pretty big place, a not-for-profit, which in some cases people are concerned about. Our economic impact's almost $300 million a year for this region, but still we're that not-for-profit. And I think there's going to be corporate restructuring. Benefit corporations we're looking at. A lot of our work in Hurleyville and trying to bring this community back is to bring tax-paying businesses to Main Street. And we're leveraging our foundation and some major donors who are assisting us in this to really try to bring tax-paying businesses back into the community, and we can work hand in hand with them. We also have a strong connection to farming. I'm a farm boy. My grandfather's farm was just down the street here. And as a 7-year-old, I used to drive the team of horses. Well, my 2 older brothers needed to pitch the hay in the back. And so I thought farming was pretty sexy. If you ask my brother John and Mike about pitching the hay, they have a whole different gig on that. But I think the food shed, one of the things that we have here is this remarkable land and soil You have to pick a lot of rocks, but we can grow a lot of good food. We can raise great animals where we could be the Vermont to Manhattan. And I think with Ramsey's efforts, and maybe Charlie helping us out with a incubator farm or something, and Alan and I coming together on a farm, we can help all agriculture advance itself. But again, it's about helping staff feel comfortable, wanting to stay. And as a grandfather now, I'd love to see my grandsons want to stick around for a little bit. And that means we have to help out the tax base. We have to get help the diversity challenges that we have in our public schools. We can do a lot better job assisting people. And we have a project in Hurleyville called the Makers Lab, which is a very sort of modeled after the MIT Media Lab, which is going to introduce a lot of very interesting science, incubator thinking, 3D printing, and we're going to be hopefully offering a major scholarship to all the public schools where these kids can come in and invent the new world. But at the core of our work at the Center for Discovery is inventing new models of care. You know, our business is to create solutions to complex problems, and we have a big research initiative. And a lot of this stuff it's about performance, and you know, so we can't rest. You know, I think our work, and if you take a look at Alan and Sandra, they could easily packed it in and spent all their time on the beach, but they're working. I think Alan's working harder now than he did when he was putting antennas up about 45 years ago. At least he's yelling at me all the time. I have to get my act together here. But again, the power of this place, if we get past all our differences, which we have a bunch of them, we probably have some, well, I don't want to get the anti-fracking signs up again, but if we recognize that we're all in on this, we're all in this together, and if we all work hard, we can really make this place what we know it is in a lot of moments, but we need to make it better for everybody. And I think this collaboration, I think the college, the idea of having a vibrant college is essential. Healthcare, Hal Teitelbaum's not here, but I think Crystal Runn has brought a whole new energy to the place. I'm hoping Charlie, his company does everything they're supposed to do. And I met them a long time ago, and I knew they were a class act, and I'm happy they got it. But again, it's, you know, at our place, we can't rest. You know, I'm dealing with disease and disability today that I didn't see 30 years ago. And so we need to get smarter, we have to work harder, we have to create new collaborations. And I think that transcends into the work of how Sullivan County has to come together. We have to find new ways to talk to each other. I must admit, when I came back in 1980, little tiny place, about 15, 20 staff, and I was going to go the typical way, and then my dad, who passed just a year after I got here, I was ready to buy this factory for the center, and his comment to me stayed with me then and continues to have me think into the future. He said, don't the people you care for deserve new? And so we've been building new ever since. But when I go back in time, I'm starting to see our work. And we work with, you know, autoimmune dysfunction, which we all, if you live long enough, you join that club. Our hope is that our work at the Center for Discovery connects everybody. And I think we have a team there that is capable of doing that. I just try to get out of their way. But I'm a county boy, squirrel hunted as a kid, but we've got some work to do. You know, we've got a little bit more work to do, and I think with Alan and Sandra taking the lead, talented people that we have in abundance, we're going to pull this off. So thank you.
Patrick, I think in your final sentence there, you really gave a challenge, and that is we've got some work to do. So I'd like to hear from everyone what's some of the work you see we need to do over the next few years to make this really the place we want it to be. And I'm not going to call on you, but just jump in and start talking.
I'll jump in quickly, Doctor, and kind of pick up on a point that Alan made earlier. And, in our business, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So as we look about the tourism and the tourism visitations that we're deeply interested in the work that Renaissance is doing to help beautify the county, to help educate our local businesses, to make sure that when our guests arrive at our county, that they see something that's really great, that they understand that it's not just customer service on our property. And I'll just unpack it a little bit for you because there's always a lot of confusion about our project. So we're Empire Resorts, we're a public company, we're the Montreal Resort Casino. There is a non-casino amenity, which is as important as our casino. And I'm a casino guy, but I always end up talking more about the other things in the non-casino environment because we cannot put up a big neon casino sign and expect people just to come. But it's the water park, it's the entertainment village. The entertainment village is going to have a Catskill product emporium in it, which is going to feature all local products. A lot of people in this room are probably going to be partners with us at the emporium in the entertainment village with our partners at EPR Properties. But when our guests arrive in this county, we need them to be welcome, as Alan was saying. Thank you. Guy at the gas station, can I help you? Can I give you directions? So we're not looking just to educate our own workforce. We're looking to partner with everyone here in the community and educating the community so we can really set up the welcome mat for the millions of people who are going to be coming up here.
One of the others like to jump in?
Well, I'll jump in and say that in part because of some of the discussions that Charlie and I have had in the last year, really, at SUNY Sullivan, we partnered with the Chamber and Tourism Walla Walla, yikes. Roberta and I have a common friend from Tourism Walla Walla. And the SUNY system actually gave us enough money to bring Disney training. And so we're working right now, and that training will occur in the next couple of months. But the idea is to really up the game. If we're talking about excellence, let's go with the most excellent model we could possibly think of, and that was Disney. And luckily, SUNY Sullivan is in the SUNY system, and we were able to get some help. And now it's all about people going to the workshop. There'll be enough chairs for 150. There'll be 2 people from Sullivan County who will get training, who will go to Disney. And it just all fits into that theme of we really do want to be ready in every way so that this new industry is very welcoming for our county.
One of the things that really impressed me when I look at these 6 people is in so many parts of the world you see territoriality. I'm in my shtick, don't you touch it, etc. And one of the things that really is, I think, amazing about Sullivan County, about all of you, as people who care, is that people in this county don't seem to have territoriality. It's all about the common good rather than necessarily my good. And that really impresses me, that you wouldn't be here if you didn't care about your county. Every one of you could have something at home. You could be watching television or washing the snow off the car or whatever you were going to do, but you're here because you care. And it seems to me every one of these people here are really symbols of caring. And so, somebody would look at me and say, how could Charlie and Ramsey be working together? They're at opposite ends of the spectrum. But you know what? They are. Because I think they both care about the good of this location and the good of this place. And I'd like to hear from you all, a little bit more challenges, not just the immediate, but how can you all involve everybody here in making this the county of the future that maybe you can envision? Yes, sir.
Well, we had the non-for-profit summit that was held Wednesday, and we talked about the Affordable Care Act and community health. So I'll give you the Reader's Digest version of what the Affordable Care Act is. We're going from a system where the more stuff physicians and hospitals did, the more you got paid, right? You got paid per MRI and per procedure. And we're moving to a system where we're going to be paid for the health of the community. So when we talk about somebody's health, access to health care, primary care, and Dr. Ellswig, the head of our primary care program, is here. I wanted to give a shout out to him. The medications and the like only account for 15% of somebody's overall health. So the hospital and our physician practice and the medications that we write really don't contribute a large amount to someone's overall health. So engaging with communities and with non-for-profits that work on trails for people to walk on, healthy food. I think the Center for Discovery really is unbelievable. I mean, I have gluten, dairy allergies, and I go to the Center for Discovery. I can have whatever I want because that's all they make. And that food is medicine, and that exercise is medicine, and smoking cessation. So, as a hospital and a medical center that now is responsible for that 100%, where the government's saying, listen, we pay you a lot of money, put your money where your mouth is, you should be able to figure out how to do it. We're going to have to engage in the community to improve health. And it's not going to be, this is my patient, this is your patient, and there's not going to be that fight. It's going to be, we have to improve the health of the community. It certainly benefits the community financially by having people at work and not in the hospital or in a doctor's office. So that sort of collaboration and that whole meeting was just about how we can work together with home care and some of the other things that we have to offer in the community.
Alan, or someone want to jump in?
I think this collaboration just keeps resonating. I must admit that, years ago we used to have a saying in Sullivan County, no good deed goes unpunished. And for our first 20 years, since 80, I can admit that we put a wall around the place because we didn't want all of the noise that was happening here. But in the last several years, some of the energy and some of the conversations that started to happen, I think a bunch of us got together and realized we're all in on this, particularly in trying to have a meaningful workforce where people are paid properly and they have a consistent job. And now housing is a major issue. I think it's about changing the conversations we used to have. I mean, Aileen Gunther is not only a blessing, but she's very smart. And she's capable. She needs to start yelling at us and telling us what to do instead of this just shifting, instead of calling the people that represent us and yelling at them. Just say, what can we do? And by the way, you're smarter than us, so give us your ideas. Particularly with Aileen's background in health and medicine. She's enabled us to do things that wouldn't have happened without her. I also think we have to better understand what's happening in Washington, and I think we need to work in concert with them, particularly with all this healthcare stuff coming. The head of Aetna Insurance the other day, I think, made an announcement that he's demanding everybody in his 50,000 employees or whatever, they have to do yoga every day and have to eat good food. So this notion of food in medicine is now tied to a major economic driver. And so we're in a magical place here in Sullivan County because of agriculture, because of nature and the fact that we're protecting it, we're not going to poison it. We're going to be in a very nice place over the next decade where maybe we can maximize just the physical power of the healing power of Sullivan County as an economic driver. Because insurance companies are going to start to pay us for having healthier people. And so we're at a really interesting time that we can really shift the way we've been sort of managing things and really take advantage of this bigger thing that's happening here in Sullivan County. I mean, we're sitting here at the Woodstock site, and my staff are always teasing me because I'm really big on medical marijuana, although they won't let me smoke it. But we're involved with this guy, Orrin Davinsky, in a research study on seizure disorders, and we think we've come up with something, an extract from marijuana. We're really seeing major success with folks who have dropped seizures taking this. And so my business mind is I'm going to talk to Alan about Woodstock weed and create something. medicinal, and then we have the brewery. But the, you know,
Wow.
Sullivan
Talk about
County-
hospitality.
But I do think there's a nice piece, and let me just shoot back to Sandra. When Sandra started this stuff in the communities, and now I'm in Hurleyville and I have to deal with Vic McCarthy on a daily basis, and God help me, I need Father Straub to assist me on that. I'm realizing such remarkable people that were just a door away that I didn't know, and I'm pretty local, but I try to hide a lot, or my staff stick me away. It's been such an exciting time for us to connect deeper with all the neighbors. And I think, Sandra, you did that. You know, this idea of going to these places and seeing people plant flowers that you'd never imagined. They get off their bulldozer and plant the flower, or look at their community and want to make it nice. There's a powerful evidence to that, as evidenced by this today. And I think that those little things become very big. And I'm anxious to see what the next decade's going to feel like. So.
I'd like to hear a little bit of a prescription that each of you might give. I'd like you to make believe you're all doctors. And if you could give a prescription for this county, how can we go from, there was a time that we were worried about on death's bed. We're getting out of bed now. We're moving on. We're getting ready to stand tall. What can we all do to help to make this county stand tall? Ramsey, I see you're...
Yeah, you know, I think that we've got these incredible engines of economic growth here represented on the podium. There's two other elements. I mean, this is going to be the driving force. And there's other institutions as well, but this is a good representation of the economic engine that will drive Sullivan County. But there's two things that I think are opportunities right now, and Patrick alluded to it, and Jerry did as well. You know, food, the food shed. We are a county that's uniquely situated to become a major grower of value-added vegetables and beef operations. So we've got great grasslands. So grass-fed beef is a real opportunity in this county. And with the advancements in growing organically using hoop houses and other greenhouses, we can grow significant amounts of vegetables, niche vegetables that are in high demand in New York City. So I think there's a real, we've been an agricultural county forever, and we sort of started to lose it because of the economic forces affecting us that are nothing to do with the county, national and international. But we've got an opportunity now to go back and expand agricultural production in this county and make it one of the cornerstones of our sustainable long-term economy. And we can provide jobs and create market share and branding. The second one is renewable energy. There is a renewable energy revolution happening right now, and Sullivan County is, with the college, with the hospital, and with the Center for Discovery, which is already a leader, and hopefully in some respects with the new casino, we can become the county that everybody looks at across New York State who adopts quickly. We can create jobs, people who are auditing, doing energy audits, people who are installing, and we can create a whole new economy based on renewable energy. It's inevitable, and we have the real opportunity, and I think the power to be out in front of that. And so I think those two things are real opportunities that we've got.
Good prescription. Yes, doctor.
Yeah, the second is, and Karin will back me up on this, is education. One of the exciting things that happened in Orange County is that Toro Medical School opened up. So they will be completing in May the first year of students. We at Catskill Regional Medical Center are going to be receiving students for training. And we're actually applying for residency programs. So Catskill Regional Medical Center, who thought of it 2 years ago, will actually become a university hospital with residents, medical students, and individuals who want to come to the area for the right reasons, working with our primary care. You know, Sullivan County, as far as an educational opportunity for physicians, is truly everything in one. You have the problems of a poor rural county, you have the problems of a poor urban county, and you have very wealthy people that come and need care. It's at the hospital we have a primary care office and specialty care, and we see them all. We don't have a Medicaid clinic. So patients who see me, there'll be a patient who has no insurance sitting next to a CEO of a company, and they're getting the same care. What a wonderful opportunity that is for students to learn. And students bring that energy that makes the doctors who've been here for a while start reading up on things, because you don't want the student to ask you a question and you don't know the answer. So it's just education, and certainly, you know, most of our nurses trained at SUNY Sullivan. So supporting our community college is so important to the future of this county. And I don't know if Karen wants to talk about all the wonderful things that you're doing there with nursing. And
well, the most exciting thing that's happened in nursing is we went from a state exam licensure failure rate of really, we went from 65% passing to the last graduating class, 100% passing. This was, and I have to tell you, and how did that happen? Well, basically, we found people in the nursing department, including two wonderful directors who helped this happen over the course of about a 3-year period to get to that place. And it takes great people who strive for excellence so that the students figure out, you're going to have to work really hard to pass that exam, you know. So 100% this last graduating class, and we're going to keep that up, because we want our nurses to save lives, not hurt them, you know. So anyway.
I don't know if you appreciate what a remarkable turnaround that is for,
absolutely,
especially in education where sometimes things take a long time. I mean, that's really remarkable.
And I think that turnaround is symbolic of the turnaround of this county. Anybody else like to say?
If I were a doctor, I'd want to be a surgeon, not a urologist. And but what I would want to do is recommend to my patients, the people of Sullivan County, that we need to surgically remove the chip that's been on our shoulder for generations.
Good for you. Excellent.
And I say that from this perspective. The largest shareholder in our company is a gentleman in Malaysia, and when I speak with him, and it's someone that Alan knows pretty well and has met on a couple of occasions, he talks about Sullivan County like it's a jewel, like it's something that has fallen from heaven into his lap to look at it. He wants to experience everything in terms of the natural environment, the ability to kind of uplift the area. But then sometimes when I'm in the community, we've been beaten down for so long that we feel like we've got this chip. But if I could only share with you the experiences that I've had speaking with him and others who don't come from our area, who just can't wait to get here.
Yes.
Go for it.
So, you know, one of the things that my mom and dad did very well is they taught their 3 girls, of which I was the youngest one, the fun one. They taught us that, you know, you want to finish what you start. You want to finish what you start. And you've got, in this audience, there are people here who started on this course 15, 20 years ago, and probably in the case of the Garys, probably much longer than that, right? To create something that really will be beautiful. So it's not done yet, but it's getting there. Stay the course, you know. So that would be my prescription: is finish what you start and recognize yourselves, appreciate yourselves for all the wonderful work that you've all done. And I'm coming here at a good time, really. I mean, it's easy for me in many respects. I didn't lay the foundation that those of you in the audience have laid. The second thing I want to say is level of educational attainment. One of the wonderful things about community colleges in this country is that any resident at any age can come back and get public higher education in many, many fields. I've worked with thousands of students. I taught for 16 years full-time and many years part-time. And I've seen so many unbelievable transformations of people. And that includes people who really had come back to retrain and do something completely different to find either a better income or a happier life. So we do need to work on the level of educational attainment in Sullivan County. It's not as high as it should be compared to others in New York State. And just for the sake of having a strong workforce, a strong hospital, a strong center for discovery, a strong, sustainable environment. I mean, you've got to educate your citizenry, and that's why we're here. So the prescription is, if you know people, friends or family, who don't have a college degree yet, our doors are open. I don't care if they're 65 years old or, 17. Maybe they want to start a little early, right? Our doors are open, and we're here to help. We're here to provide that.
Thank you.
So.
Anybody else want to say anything? I don't want to cut you off before I move on to the next section. Okay. Yes, sir.
I'd just like to personally thank, where's Sandy sitting at?
Yeah, you took.
Hi, Sandy. I want to personally thank Sandy for the effort that she's put in to putting this thing together. It doesn't happen overnight. This is a lot of evenings during the year that I eat Wheaties because Sandy is on the phone with the Renaissance gals, and they're planning all sorts of things. But it's a special effort, and it's something that that she's done. I just think that I probably know her as well as anybody else here, but she put a special effort into this thing, and this is a great part of her life, the formation and the running of the Renaissance program and the people that she has helped and that she continues to help. And it's not just a wintertime thing or a forum thing, where it goes on every day of the year. And I wanted to personally thank you, Sandy, and I forgive you for the late dinners. Okay? Thanks.
Alan sort of stole my next section, though I was not going to speak about eating weenies because I've never had that at your house. But I really think before we move on to the next section, which is questions from the public, we really do need to stop for a second because there are all sorts of people who volunteer. Some volunteer just by volunteering their time. Some may be paid professionals, but they do much more than what they're actually paid for. And I think that, first of all, we all need to, I'd like the people who work with Sandy in Renaissance to stand up for a second, because I think they deserve a round of applause. So if you work, stand up. I will tell you, I have never met as many wonderful people. I'm in a different country every week on your dime for the State Department, and I have never met as many wonderful people as I've met at Sullivan Renaissance. It is truly, for me, a pleasure every time I come. It's not just a visit, it's a coming home. So thank you. Secondly, before we go, there are many people here who are volunteers who really give their heart and soul. Would you guys stand up, those of you who are volunteers, because we need to give you a round of applause. It's because of these people that this county is on the move, and we need to be appreciative of that. Now, we have some questions from the audience. I'm just reading them. These are not my questions, okay? So I'm nothing more than the messenger here. First question for the panel. I'm told this is one of the easier questions. More and more, the seasonal and more summer population is composed of the Orthodox Jewish community. Any thoughts as how you could integrate this population as a welcome presence and truly part of the larger community. So again, there's an Orthodox Hasidic community that's growing here. How do we integrate them and make them feel welcome and part of this community? That's the easiest question you're getting.
Well, as a hospital that serves that community, we actually meet with Hatzolah and some of the leaders from the community every year. We want to get feedback on how we did the year before to improve the care that we're able to provide. And the biggest thing is communication. Just meeting with them as over the last 2 years, I find that they have the same needs and wants that we do, and they're very warm people. And if you get to know them, and particularly in a service format that the hospital does, I think we work very well.
Anyone else want to make a comment? I'd actually like to make a comment about what the programs that Sullivan Renaissance does, which is a few years ago, and Alan is here someplace, if he'd stand up, they began what they call a mitzvah program. And it's for a way to people to integrate in bringing the best principles of biblical ecology and biblical principles into making their summer camps and summer areas as beautiful and as wonderful as it can be. This year, I believe 10 camps participated. And not only is that a way to give, but it's also a way for them to give back to the community. And in so doing, they're becoming part of the community. And that's a concept that Sullivan Renaissance has been pushing. And I think this entire county should be proud because the mitzvah program is a good deed. It's a mitzvah. So thank you to all. To me, that is the concept of one of the key elements of education. Taking creativity, thinking out of the box, finding where people are, and it doesn't matter if it's now the new program with the Spanish-speaking community or the Hasidic community or any other community, the African-American community, finding where they are and providing their needs. And when I mean language, I don't mean Spanish or English, but the cultural language by which they speak. So again, I think that's a model that from here the spiritual of that should go out across the nation as a way to build. So thank you all for doing things like that. Second question specifically for Charlie, and it says, and again, I have no idea who asked these questions. Charlie, specifically, what is the commitment to employ and work with and build with local businesses? So if you could speak a little bit more about that.
That's actually a very easy one. It's our top priority. We are putting everything through the prism of, first, obviously you have to be qualified, but if you are qualified and you are local, we want you to come to work for us, whether it's in the construction phase or in the permanent operation phase. The other thing I'll add, and it's an appeal, if you know of anybody, if you want to come to work for us, if you're in the construction business, we are building union, we are operating union, so all our jobs are going to be good union. You need to find me and let me know about yourselves. I mean, we have a great kind of outreach program that's just coming out of the box right now that you're going to be hearing more and more about. So the answer is absolutely yes. There is a top priority for us to hire locally and frankly even into the region a bit too, because we're doing so much that even Sullivan County, with the great needs that we have here, is not going to be enough to just handle everything that we're going to be throwing at this project. So answer is absolutely yes.
Great. The next one's probably towards Randall, but anybody else can comment if they'd like also. Now that the threat of hydraulic fracturing is gone, what new initiatives can we promote to support sustainable and fossil fuel-free projects, i.e. wind, solar, water, or anything else that you might want to comment on?
Catskill Mountain Keeper applied for a grant from NYSERDA as part of the consolidated funding application this round. I think you've all been a part of this process at some point or another. And we received a $1.875 million grant to do renewable energy transition in the Catskills and the Mid-Hudson Valley. So, I think that like I said earlier, there's a unique opportunity in time right now for Sullivan County to become a model for other counties across the state and the East Coast to transition to renewable energy. And there's two reasons why it makes sense. One, it creates jobs. It absolutely creates local jobs. And two, it saves you money. You know, as a residential person, if you do energy efficiency audits on your house and implement those recommendations, and if your house makes sense for solar, you're going to realize significant short, medium, and long-term cost savings. And it's a really, you know, it's sort of a no-brainer on that front. And again, we're in the beginning of this transition. So, you know, wind is a little more complicated, but it's definitely an option. And geothermal, we've got geothermal at the brewery, and it's really remarkable. So there's a lot of technologies that are out there. In fact, I mean, at the brewery and at the Center for Discovery and the street lamps that Alan installed here, you know, there's all kinds of models, examples of these renewable technologies. Karin has just embarked on an ambitious partnership with a solar array, and I believe that's moving forward, correct?
Oh, it's almost done.
So,
yeah, 2
you know,
megawatts.
like, again, I mean, part of the job we have now as a community is to understand this opportunity and to promote it and show people that we're out in front on this and that we're excited about it. And again, Patrick, I can't say enough about how the Center for Discovery quietly, without any bells and whistles, without any big press releases, has done more to make their operation energy efficient for all the right reasons. You know, and I just thank you, Patrick, for doing that. And it's something that we can all learn from because they're constantly updating it and upgrading it, and it's probably, you know, I assume, Patrick, it's been a significant cost savings for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We still need to do more. With these winters, you need to do a lot more. We're trying to research a dome that we can dome the county with solar on the outside. But good God Almighty, this snow is driving me crazy.
Come visit Texas. This is an interesting question for everybody. The panel represents basically tourism, health, care, education, all of which is true. Like any successful entity or business, diversification is critical. What other industries does the panel see as good for our county? So something out of your all comfort zone, but something else we need to be pursuing.
First of all, I want to say thank you to Mark Baez, who's here, because I think he does such great work, and Mark and I are constantly in communication, and one of the things that we've discussed are innovative green technologies, things that are the missing elements right now with solar and wind, such as an example, hypothetical example, such as a battery that can distribute power evenly and can store power with renewables in a way that makes it much, much easier to power large commercial segments of our energy needs. So I think that is a great place to start. I really do. And there's so much going on in the East at MIT, for example. And young people are doing these innovations because they have an ability to think outside of the box in terms of the new understandings of physics and chemistry and all those things that have to work together. So that's what I would say.
Anybody else like to jump in? Something, other new industries that we haven't begun to think about or things to bring to this county to create diversification?
In a more general sense, broadband and you know, the evolution of technology, thanks in large part to Mr. Gary here, makes Sullivan County a very attractive place to do business. You're so close to New York City, so I think that, you know, really creating the support networks for professionals, and that means, you know, cafes to go to, and, you know, places where there's broadband internet and computer support tech, and you know, giving them the things that they need so they can come up to Sullivan County and be professional and compete in the Manhattan and the metropolitan space. I mean, we've got that unique opportunity. Property is cheap. It's 2.5 hours back to Manhattan for your meetings. You can live here, do your business, And as far as anybody else is concerned, you live in the West Village. So I think that if we think about it that way, ultimately, we're moving in that direction anyway, and we should be
Pursuing
forward.
that.
Pursuing that, yes.
Okay, this is kind of an interesting question. The person noted that there wasn't anyone from the government sector on the panel. What do members of the panel see? So you as non-government people see the government's role in Sullivan County Renaissance resurgence.
Well, first of all, I want to recognize our legislators in the room, but particularly Aileen Gunther, unless she left. No, there she is. A Catskill alum, and truly just a wonderful individual. I mean, I can call her at any time, and if we have issues and concerns, she's always there. So thank you so much. She's truly a gem for Sullivan County. Thank you so much.
Anyone else have a comment about maybe we might call the interplay between government and private enterprise? Okay, we're going to take two more questions, and then I'm going to ask each of you who'd like to give like a little quick summation, and then I'll have a few words, and we'll be okay. The panel consists of diverse organizations and individuals. How can their efforts be coordinated to provide the greatest impact to our recovering economy and quality of life? Is it a function of Renaissance, another nonprofit government, or something altogether different? So how can we, I guess, really work together? Yes.
So I can address that from our project's perspective, and this is something we're excited about, but it's a challenge, and once again, I'm here today to ask for everyone's help. We have set a 30% minority women, business, and veterans goal for ourselves. We are looking for 30% participation for MW, now it's VBE, in our project, both in the construction and once we open our doors, get into the operation phase too. So coming from a diverse county such as Sullivan County, we are extremely interested in advantaging minority and women-owned businesses and making sure they know all about our project and the opportunity to come work for us. So if you don't know about us, visit our website, montrain.com, and you can look in the vendor section, and if you have any information about yourself or your company and you want to apply, put it right in there. I'm around. Everybody seems to be able to find me pretty easily. Certainly come up, talk to me about it. But diversity for our company and our project, a very high priority.
Okay, these are two last questions.
Well, just to talk a little bit about diversity.
Sure. I'm sorry.
Diversity for an organization and a business is not something cute or nice, or wouldn't it be nice if. If you do not have a diversity within your organization, an organization cannot survive. The hospital is exceedingly diverse because we take care of a diverse group of people. You need that cultural awareness throughout an organization for you to survive. So I agree that that's the way it should be, but it's the way that organizations should run because it's the best way to run an organization.
And that's a great segue into a question specifically for you, Doctor, which is...
I think they've heard from me enough.
Are you planning to expand the hospital services to include complementary medicine, such as acupuncture, homeopathic or chiropractic medicine? And if, could you share those plans with us? So if the answer is yes, then share them. If no, say no, and that's it.
The answer is yes. The goal is to expand services so that we accomplish all of wellness. We did a community needs assessment 2 years ago to determine what the community needs, to determine, where do we go as an organization, right? I mean, because otherwise you can say, look, hip replacements make a lot of money. Why don't we just open up a bone and joint center? But we're focusing on what the community needs. So some of the things that we've expanded into is now we're a designated stroke center, which because of the geography and how the distances that people have to travel, Stroke and heart disease, time is brain and time is heart. By becoming a designated stroke center, what we've done is we've educated everyone in the organization, including people at registration. So if someone's coming into the emergency room and they're having a stroke, we don't want to wait for the doctor to see them to diagnose that. There are things that the registrar can identify and move those patients in. And we've actually had, in the last 5 months since becoming a stroke center, 7 huge saves where we were able to give a medication called TPA, which is tissue plasminogen activator. It's a clot-busting agent, and actually have saved 7 lives in the last 5 months just by becoming a stroke center.
Before our summation, the last question is for education is truly the basis of where we begin, and so Karen, you get the last question. What, if any, plans are in place for Sullivan County's community college culinary program to grow, prepare, and promote organic, local farm-to-table cuisine? This is a long question.
Great
and
question.
work with local restaurants and businesses and schools to train and staff those institutions. Did you get it all? There's a lot there.
Yes. It's a great question, and the timing couldn't be better for this question because just last week, my team and I are working on the budget. And at this point in time, we get requests for new positions all over the college. We approved of 2 new positions, and they're not new money. We basically take retirements or separations and repurpose the money if we can, and that's what we did. 1 position will be a full-time culinary faculty in addition to the 2 full-timers that we have. And the deal is that they need to have a job announcement that seeks a chef with a farm-to-table organic emphasis. And so that's really important because we're gearing up for the resort destination, and we know that will lead to a culinary expansion, and we want to start promoting farm-to-table, farm-to-institution. You know, that's really important to our county. And the second position is a position that will help support the department, so it's more of a, for lack of a better way of putting it, a clerical position. But we are ready to ramp up that organization, and we're ramping it up with the sustainability theme.
Terrific.
So.
We're almost coming towards a close. What I'm going to do is, we started with Alan Gary, so we're going to start this time with Randall, go the other direction, and ask each of you just to sum up how you see the Sullivan County of the future, and in a 1-sentence phraseology, something that, a takeaway that each of us can take away from this wonderful morning. So you were last, so now you get to go first.
So just to clarify, this is a 1-sentence game?
Yeah, it's 1 sentence, but if you want to, put a few ands and buts, it can be a complex sentence.
Complex sentence. I'm going to go right back to what Alan said in the beginning. This is, we've been handed something. We worked for it very hard, all of us, over a long period of time, but we've got something handed to us. It's an opportunity that's unique. We are a special place. Sullivan County is the gateway to the Catskills, which is something I am passionate about, and I believe together we are going to really change the way people live in a very positive way here. I mean, this is about the people who live here, and we're going to benefit from the tourists that Charlie brings, and the students that Karen brings, and the great doctors that Patrick and Jerry bring, but this is ultimately about the people who live here and improving our lives, better jobs, better education. I think we're on the path to that now.
Like I talked to my staff, if we focus on what we can control, high quality, a welcoming attitude, and communication, we're going to be successful. And what we can all control, we should do our best to do it as best as we can.
Patrick.
I think we build on this collaboration, and we try to find ways to deal with the old problems of diversity, the relationship to this county from the east to west, north and south, which certainly makes the job of our legislators pretty complicated. But if we can start to resolve things differently, get away from the old envy or jealousy or the kind of pushing and shoving and blaming that happens, if we can come together, I think we can do some good stuff. And the word is magic. We're moving to a magical time, I think, in Sullivan County.
How nice. Karen.
One sentence. Okay. I keep thinking of systems and the fact that Sullivan Renaissance is a system connected with many, many other systems. And I think if we figure out how to get all of those complex moving parts working together in extraordinary ways, we will end up with an extraordinary outcome.
Thank you. Charlie?
I'll give you actually less than a sentence, something that can fit on a bumper sticker, because I am going to put it on bumper stickers, and it's, we're a Catskill destination reborn.
Very nice. Last but not least,
Okay.
Alan.
This is perhaps a little longer than you want to hear, but it's really...
I thought so, but it's okay.
All right. Okay, but it's really, really important. And it's the relationship between our school system and our inability to attract people to come up here when there are jobs, to live here and send their kids to school here. Over the years that we've been in business here, and it goes way back into the early and late 50s, particularly during the period of time that we were peaking in the 80s, and the need for engineers, draftspeople, legal people, accounting people, and we were hiring people at our corporate headquarters down in Liberty from all over the country. And invariably, some of them are sitting here in the audience right now. I'm looking at them right now. They came to Liberty, they took the job, they bring the missus in, they look at the school system, and then they start doing the circle. They look at Liberty, then they look at Monticello, then they get out to Grahamsville. Then they go out, they didn't meet their requirements. They wound up, most of the people that we hired in the 80s, and these were really, really good jobs, wound up living in Orange County, in Pennsylvania, because they weren't happy with what was going on in our local schools. I'm not here to criticize the teachers or the school systems or anything else, but there's work to be done, because if the problem is there today, we have many less people working with us than we did back in the 80s and the 90s. But still, for the several hundred people that we have working here, the school systems seem to be a problem. So if we could, because it's going to affect all of us. You folks are going to have people that you want to come up here to work at the new casino and the college and all the other stuff. And Karen, we have the scholarship program that we're doing with the high schools and with Syracuse University and with the community college. But we read perhaps to spin off a separate task force to work on the issues of the quality of the educational system. And I'm not pointing any fingers at any individual, but I'm talking about the system doesn't work. I think the system is broken and we have to fix it. If you fix that, it's another good reason why people want to come up here, not only work here, but live here. So I want to leave you with that.
Before I conclude and then hand it back over to Sandra, first, I would be remiss in not thanking the wonderful choir for letting some lights shine. Secondly, I'd like to leave you with two sentences. I'm going to take the privilege. One is that we had a wonderful dinner Thursday night, and at that dinner, the good doctor spoke about the fact that there's also often an invisibility of possibility. I think today we're moving from an invisibility of possibility to the possibilities of great visibility. And that's really where we need to go. We've been seeing, we're blind to possibilities. Now the possibilities are making us open our eyes to the beauty that surrounds us all. And so if we can move to that level of the possibility of visibility, I think we're going to put this county on a great level. The second thing is, it's always my tradition to kind of end with one little biblical phrase. Last time I was here, I said, "Uvacharta b'chaim," choose life. I think you've chosen life. And now I'd like to leave you with, I often say this to law enforcement, if there's one phrase that to me is the basic of economic development, it comes from Leviticus. The Hebrew is "V'ahavta l'recha kamocha," which is often mistranslated as "love your neighbor as yourself." The correct translation is, when you love your neighbor, you're helping your neighbor and yourself. And what we saw here today were people helping their neighbors and helping themselves. And that's what your volunteer program is all about. V'ahavta l'recha kamocha. When we help our neighbors, we help them, but we also help ourselves. Thank you all for a wonderful...
Thank you.
Sandra,
Yes,
the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, thank you, Dr. Tarlow. I just to bring this to an end, and Denise just has one comment to make, but I so want to thank our panelists. This has been an inspiring, informative, wonderful morning, so thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Tarlow, for bringing it all together and keeping us on task. So thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I think it's almost afternoon now. I've just been charged with the housekeeping part of this while we have everyone captured here this morning. First, again, on behalf of Renaissance and everyone here, we would like to thank our panelists for taking the time out of your projects and your day to be with us this morning and help us see the possibility and what we can do together as a community to keep moving forward. And I want to let everyone know that our panelists have exhibits in the lobby and downstairs, so please, while you're here, take an opportunity to go out and visit them and gather more information. If you didn't get to ask your question, just in the interest of time, we're happy to help make connections for you so we can follow up. We'd like to again congratulate our award recipients, and we'd like to thank our dignitaries for joining us today. This does conclude the morning session. We are going to have a break for networking and some refreshments. If you're leaving us now, we hope that you're leaving us inspired and with ideas and perhaps considering your role and what you might do yourself to help our county continue its amazing transformation. Certainly there's no effort too great or too small. If you're staying, here are the details. Again, networking, you can stretch, walk around, talk to your neighbors, share the excitement. We have a local market downstairs featuring items from the Center for Discovery and the Wild Turkey Bakery, as well as Catskill Mountain Sugar House in support of local efforts. At noon, there'll be 2 sessions of the Renaissance Salon if you'd like to meet with Renaissance staff, as well as Renaissance en Español if you would like to speak with someone in Spanish. And then we'll also be coming back here for What's New with Renaissance and our afternoon speaker, Mr. Kirk Ryan Brown, our gardening feature for the day. We'd love to keep in touch with you, so if we don't have your contact information, please stop by and see us so we can get that. And we do value your feedback, so please let us know what you thought of today and what else we might do to bring your ideas together. So again, our next event will be in April. We look forward to seeing you there. We hope you'll stay for the rest of the day, and we thank you for coming out today. And I'm sorry, Mr. Gary.
I'd just like to say something here and I'll share a thought with you. For those of you who've been here over the years, and the few of you here that said you have never been here before, if you notice the stonework in the room here, and all the stonework throughout the campus here, the stonework was done primarily with a local gentleman, good friend of mine, Tommy Edwards from White Sulphur Springs. A few days ago, he lost his wife, Patty. She succumbed to a disease, a little cancer issue that she had, but she finally, it got her a few days ago, and she was 73. I think Tommy is 74. I've known them all their lives, wonderful kids, and I just wanted to say that their spirit, the Edwards spirit, is in this place, because Tommy he's had his hands on every one of these stones and the other thousands or hundreds of thousands of stones out there. I just wanted to say a little tribute to what wonderful people they were, and our thoughts and prayers are out to their kids. They got 5 wonderful daughters, and they've got children. But I just wanted, many of you here, you know the Edwards, and the ones that don't, they were just wonderful people. They're very, very much a part of helping us build the community here. And I just wanted to let you know if you didn't hear about it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Again, we'd like to thank everyone for coming, and please help yourself to some more refreshments and some time together. If our panelists could stay for just a moment, we'd like to get a photo.